What makes a character popular? Good writing. End of story, roll the credits, we have the answer. But what if we were to compare two well-written characters? What is the factor that separates them both, and how are people picking their favorites? Recently I was discussing with my friend one of my favorite characters who happens to be a villain. We were trying to figure out why is it that one character who's a villain compared to another villain, even though it's from the same story and they are both well written, could still have some kind of difference in the popularity, and this one could be a fan favorite, on the other hand the other one is like swept to the side. What's the difference? What's the factor? So I decided to make a few polls. Unfortunately I wasn't able to get many responses because, believe it or not, but it's incredibly difficult to get a Google poll published in any of Discord servers or even Reddit communities. It's kind of crazy. There's a subreddit called r/polls, but those are only for Reddit polls, no external ones. It's kind of wacky. But anyway, I managed to get around 50 people to vote in various places, and even though I recognize that some of the things may be a little bit biased because those are people who had seen my posts, so they were most likely attracted to these polls from my previous content, but I still think it offers some incredibly cool and fascinating insight. I will save the best for the last because honestly I was not expecting that kind of result. For now, let's go and take a look at the differences and like key factors that make you pay attention to the character when you initially are introduced to said character. So honestly, when I was making this poll and I was putting this question and then filling in the options, I was like thinking to myself, physical attributes, does that mean the voice or appearance, like just the looks without anything else at all? And even though according to the definition, voice is a part of like physical attribute, I still thought that it's such a vast difference between just like visual appearance and the sound that I had to put it in a separate option, mainly because of myself, because I pay so much attention to the voice of the characters. And surprise, surprise, it is the second most voted option in here. Crazy. And the first, the leader, is mannerism, so body language, but also overall behavior and the way of speaking. Very, very interesting. Introduction also seems that it plays a role, and I think that mannerism is kind of tied to the introduction because, well, you will observe the behavior of the character naturally, but this option is mainly here to show you how important it is to also stop liking someone, perhaps. So now we move on to the next options. So think of an example of two characters that you think are appealing. Compare their stories, traits, anything you want. Why do you favor one over the others? And as you can see, the leader is. Both are well written, but one of them has lore that is fully fleshed out. So still, the focus is based on storytelling. Very, very interesting. Although not completely unexpected, but yeah, people pay attention to the lore. And I know that it's super obvious, but then again, you see the rise of like poorly written characters here and there in media in general. And it is so obvious, yet there are so many people who participate in making of these projects that they just don't understand it, you know what I mean? Second most voted option, but as you can see, there's quite of a gap between one and the other, is that someone is like relating to the character more. Next options are, I find one of them more impressive, this is like about idolizing, but it's not very popular. And the least popular option, I thought this one is very interesting. They are a fantastic representation of my community / we share background. So what I was thinking is like, you know, sexuality or specific like ethnicity, etc. But seems like people don't actually care about it. And you know, again, nowadays the trends in media are the opposite, and it seems like people don't actually pay attention to that part. It's like a spice, it's a cherry on top, but you need a very strong appealing foundation first. And in here, one of them is non-human. I like monsters, aliens, otherworldly designs, and one fits into a particular trope that is my favorite. So what I was thinking about in here mainly was Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3, because I know he's like super popular. Also, one silly option, and keep in mind that this is like multiple choice because I wanted to get as accurate data as possible. And I put one is a bit hotter, and attractiveness, of course, plays a role. No one is surprised at all. And here we have a question about the niche character. Why is the niche character, well, not mainstream, even though they are also a quality character? 13 votes, the leader. The less popular is an acquired taste. So I was thinking about this in the context of villains, especially if they are like very bad, because sometimes you have a villain that's like an anti-hero, you know, it's like you're not exactly convinced, but sometimes you have like motherfuckers in some of the media, right? So yeah, I get it, less, you know, less popular because of an acquired taste, whatever. And as I was thinking about writing this option, I was thinking of Raphael from Baldur's Gate 3, and then I also wrote the previous option thinking about him. So, the less popular is very important for the lore, but their influence easily becomes unnoticed. And that whole poll, actually, was inspired by Raphael, because I was like having a conversation with my friend where we were trying to figure out what are the factors, you know, like the main deal breakers. And oh boy, I was saving it up until this very moment. The biggest shocker to me is the result of the very first question that I wrote in here. Does the moral compass of the fictional character matter to you? So as you can see, most of the people vote no, but there is almost just as many people saying depends, I don't mind minor offenses or killing, but hideous crimes, so like torture, rape, sexual assault, etc., are a deal breaker. Very interesting, honestly, because to me it's like if you are killing people, and mind you, in media, like in anime, in books, in comics, there is killing left and right. Like even protagonists kill others, right? Like maybe not always, but it happens quite a lot, right? To me, it really doesn't matter because it's like so far from the actual reality. Like you don't see everyday people killing themselves on the street. So to me, it's like, okay, it doesn't matter. Like those lives that I'm seeing, witnessing on the screen, they are not real. So I have no morality tied to them at all. So therefore, because they aren't real, I also don't care if something of that sort happens to them. But it seems like many people draw the line on any kind of, I want to say like morally wrong, but I literally put killing in here, and that option still has so many supporters. Like that was the biggest shocker for me from that poll. I also made another poll somewhere else on Tumblr, but because like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some data may be biased because of the people that follow me. So that result actually said that no, majority doesn't care about the moral compass, but the second most voted was that it depends. So it still seems like there is a pattern in here that most likely, I'm actually, you know what, I'm convinced that if I were to get my hands on a bigger spectrum of voters, this option would take the lead. I'm absolutely convinced of it. And the reason why I think so is whenever I go to TikTok and I'm like presented with some kind of a I don't know, basically a fan of media that I enjoy posts content. And I honestly don't have any other examples than Baldur's Gate at the moment. So when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3, right? I keep seeing people talking shit about my goat Raphael because he's like creepy towards Maul, and people think that it's some kind of like pedophilia themes, etc., even though it's not true, because it's like, sure, it is phrased in a creepy way, it's meant to unsettle you, but the thing is, it's about soul, and just like the idea of having your soul taken away and becoming an eternal debtor, that should unsettle you enough. It doesn't matter if there is like a theme of, you know, pedophilia, whatever going on, when there isn't. It's like, I don't understand. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like people just pay attention to one thing, and then they seem to have this kind of a tunnel vision when it's like, oh, I think this is something sexual, this is a deal breaker for me, and that's how they work. But even though, let's say, that line never took place, right, and it was phrased completely differently, it's still evil. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it where it comes from, but then again, I don't understand it because I'm the person in this pool, so I will not be able to get it. And I think that a lot of people just don't admit that the physical attributes are, wow, they play a massive role. I even noticed that weird trend in like dating scene, you know, where people claim that, oh, they date for personality. My brother in Christ, like, what are you talking about? You have to want to like hug your partner, to smooch them, you know, like be physical with them in one way or the other. It can't be like 100% personality. I understand if you will find someone not off-putting physically, but they are not like a supermodel, and then the personality makes them the most beautiful person in the world. That's like straight up facts. I agree with that, right? But it's never that appearance doesn't play any role at all. So my point is, this thing should be a lot higher. I think this one is suspiciously too low on the chart, but that's only my opinion. Let me know whether you agree or not. I keep seeing some of the posts from Baldur's Gate 3, and people are like, Baldur's Gate 3 villain and the cake I would give you if you like them. And you will see every single villain, literally every single one of them, gets some kind of like rainbow beautiful, you know, high effort delicious cakes or cupcakes, and then you will see Raphael with a poop cake. Like, are you for real? Seriously, because of one unfortunate line. I will not be able to like just cope with it. Seriously, this is like the number one fastest thing to trigger me, rage bait me. Seriously. Okay, I will stop yapping. This was great, honestly, great experiment, very interesting results. And if you would like to take part in the future upcoming polls, because I realized that, you know what, that was super fun. I would love to, you know, do this kind of stuff more often. So if you would like to take part in the next one, hop onto my Discord. There will be a separate poll channel created. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching the video.